The next scale we're going to learn how to use is an engineer scale. And you'll notice the numbers are a little bit different. So here's a 10. On the other side, we have the 50. There's a 60, 30, 20, 40, and then we're back around to the 50 again. So this measures in very large increments. So if you were using this at what we would call a 10 scale, all right, every inch is 10 feet. So if we come to from 0 to here is 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet, 40 feet, 50 feet, 60 feet, etc., etc. So you can see that if I was doing 45 feet, I'd be right here. So now how accurate can we be with this? 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. So we can actually be accurate we know we can be accurate down to the foot. We can probably eyeball down to the 6 inches, but it's difficult to do that from there. It's designed to do more than just about feet. Occasionally, very occasionally, we will be drawing something at a very large scale or perhaps working with something that's a very large scale. So here is our 30 foot. So this is our 30 scale. Again, you notice you're reading the same way. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, etc., etc. You always have to add the 0. That's the challenge with this one. The architect scale measures in the exact number. The engineer scale, you add the 0. So this isn't 2 feet. This is 20 feet. This is 40 feet. This is 60 feet. This is 80 feet. This is 100 feet. So you have to add the 0 at the end. So now you can see we can't be as accurate with this. I can, if I know that this is 20, this is 10, this is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So I can be accurate to a foot. That's very difficult. If you'll notice that even with my 07, the width of the lead is very similar to the width of the gap in between there. So it's very difficult to go more than a foot, but it allows us to take a very large property and draw it on a very small piece of paper if we need to do that. So that's how the engineer scale works. In terms of utilizing it, I'm going to kind of use some of the same lines I did before. So if I want to know how long this line is, I simply put the 0 there, and I can see that that line is about 60 feet long. That's at the 30 scale. Let's do this shorter one that I drew earlier, and that line is about 22 feet long. So kind of let me zoom in a little bit here, and you can see it's past the 2. You might argue that it's just past the 22, and that's fine. But we're about 22 feet long. Now, what if my scale was something slightly different? Let's do the same thing with the 10 scale on these. So if I had this at a 10 scale, then this line is now 20 feet long, and this shorter line, now we know this is 10 feet, so this is 5 feet, so this right here is 5 feet. So 5, 6, 7, a little bit more than 7. You might be able to rough guess that as to 7 feet 2 inches or something around those lines. Doesn't necessarily mean that we have to be that accurate for a lot of our landscaping projects. The architect scale will allow you to be a lot more accurate than the engineer scale will be. But the engineer scale allows you to take a very large project and put it onto a smaller piece of paper. Most of the time, we are going to actually be utilizing the architect scale and not the engineer scale. And a good portion of our drawings are going to be at the quarter scale, maybe the 1/8 scale. You'll see if we have the 1/8 scale, that's 1 inch equals 8 feet. That's pretty darn close to 1 inch equals 10 feet. So occasionally you might use the 1 to 10 or the 10 scale, but a lot of times you're going to be using quarter scale, and that is a very good size. You can be reasonably accurate with your scale. It also allows you to measure your blueprints accurately.